women are very different in some areas, and it can drive us nuts sometimes.
Really? Breaking news right there. But is there an upside to those annoyances? Studio 5 relationship coach Matt Townsend even did a little informal survey where he asked women what they wish they could learn from their husbands, and what did you discover?
Nothing. There's nothing they can learn. There's a ton they can learn, and you know what? I found out what we like most about our partner is what we tend to fight about the most.
What we like most about our partner, we argue about the most.
The things that most annoy us are the things that in the end we really wish we possessed. So I did my Facebook study, and I have some friends there. You know what? This Facebook thing's going to stick, by the way.
You think so?
I'm pretty sure it's around for a while, even though the stock's plummeting. But I put together a list of the top 10 things that the women wanted most, the traits they wanted from their partner.
Okay.
That they don't seem to have themselves, but they wish they could have them. Okay. So we'll go through them, and you think if just this relates.
Okay.
Okay, are you ready?
Top 10 list here. This is
Top 10 list. Okay. First thing they loved is the ability to tune things out. They wish that they could like tune out the crying baby in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny?
Okay.
And not just crying baby, like even like a kid whining or complaining.
Yeah. Construction.
Yeah.
Yeah, ignore. I mean, men have the ability to ignore, which is a great gift. And you wouldn't think it would be a positive, but apparently women would love to be able to ignore things.
They'd love to do that.
They just can't let things go. How about another one? Not worrying about their imperfections.
Oh.
You know what I mean? How many times you just see your man just sitting in front of the mirror, jiggling his belly, saying, "Ah, I gotta get rid of this fat." You don't see that very often. You know what I mean? Like, my wife has to point mine out and like remind me that it's there, and she'll jiggle it for me, and she'll say, "See, it's right there."
There's something right there. Look at that jiggling.
It's so true. A guy can say matter-of-factly, "I am so fat."
I'm fat.
And a woman can't say that phrase without tears streaming out of her eyes.
And they actually feel bad about it.
Yeah.
But see, men know that when you have a baby, your body goes to pot for a while. Anyway, we're trying to help. So another one is the ability to say no. Men are really good at just saying no to others.
I don't have a problem at all saying no. And my wife freaks out even when she thinks that I'm going to say no to somebody.
It's funny because it's like they care. And but see, men realize, you know what, you can't do everything, so I'm going to just say no.
Right.
In fact, I even say no before I've even thought it out. I just say no. I'm an automatic no guy. So my wife, by the way, my wife's the automatic yes. So if she's the yes, I got to be the no. It's the yin and the yang.
Yeah.
You heard of that? So that's another one they wanted. Another one was that we're just tend to be more rational, less emotional, which is so true. Men also, another one they loved was the gift of not feeling guilty. Apparently men don't feel very guilty about stuff.
They can shake it off so easily.
They so can shake it. And the list, another one is the ability to deal with one thing at a time. In fact, funny thing on my radio show happened. So I was talking about this topic. I was talking to a guy who just said, you know, he was sorry that he's just kind of direct. He's just direct, and
like to the point.
To the point, and he just thinks he's kind of rude. You know what I mean? And his wife was kind of, anyway, she just gets offended by how direct he is. So I'm like, yeah, well, on the radio show, I said, yeah, you really are rude, Simon. Anyway, good to have you on the show. And then he was a caller, and we bumped him off, and we were done. Okay, in the middle of the show, my wife calls me and says, you were rude. You were rude to Simon. You need to go back and apologize to Simon on the air because you were too abrupt. And I'm thinking, you know what? Simon's okay, I'm pretty sure. Simon knew that I was teasing with him.
It's that language.
But she felt like guilt for me. She didn't even have to feel her own guilt on that one. She was feeling my guilt. She couldn't let it go. So I had to apologize to Simon, even though I had just...
You honestly apologized?
Because Marty said, you need to apologize. So I followed her advice. And then Simon called crying on the phone. No, but see, it's interesting that sometimes you ladies maybe feel guilt for everyone else, or you worry about things that none of us are worrying about, or we let that go. Simon, even if he was offended, he let it go right after. But Marty hung on to it while weeding in the middle of my show. Isn't that sad?
Well, it's interesting to think about.
See, as guys, we just kind of do that. And I don't know if it's good or bad, but I think if I'm the one that has to shoot the deer, I got to be able to let things go. I can't feel everything. If I'm the one that's supposed to provide for my family and go kill an animal in the backyard,
can't cry over Bambi.
I can't. I've got to let it go.
You know, a very interesting comment. You said, "Isn't that sad?" It's almost like the difference between men and women. I don't want to say men pity women but it's sort of sad. You're not able to let things go and not feel guilty.
Well, that could go two ways, mister. But yeah.
Here we go. Here we go.
No.
I knew it's happening.
Analyzing the differences, we can learn, I think, from the other side.
But what's amazing is it's also our strength. See, my wife would love me to be the one saying no more.
Right.
Let me be the fall guy.
Right.
My wife would love me to, and she would love to not have to feel as guilty by worrying about it. And the irony is, if she didn't worry about it, then I'd probably feel more guilty. I'd have to start worrying about some of these things. So that's why they start to become, the differences become our strengths, and the strengths become our differences.
And it's sad that we aren't as in tune, that we don't pick up on that guilt.
Right, that's why I say it goes both ways. I mean, there's a meet in the middle moment that would really make that relationship probably sing in a good way.
And that doesn't ever happen, that meeting. That's apparent. That's just what I read. I read it in a book.
Okay.
A couple
Where are we on the list here? Okay, we got a few more?
I think we do. The ability to tease. Oh, the ability to deal with one thing at a time. That's kind of the man. That's kind of really all we can do, quite honestly.
We're simple.
Don't ask us to multitask. So we got to deal with one thing at a time. The ability to just kind of have the constant belief that things will work out in the end.
Okay.
And just believe it's going to work out.
The ability to tease is on there, and also the ability to just have fun and relax.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be great? So interestingly, my first fight with my wife was about the fact that she was just so uptight about money. Such a tightwad. That was actually the words I used, and that didn't go well. But later, when I started thinking about it, and I made a list of everything I loved about her, the thing I loved about her most, one of the things, was she's so conservative and safe with our money. So eventually, if you look down this list, the things that most annoy you about your partner will eventually become the things that you most really appreciate. But it's in the moment we don't like them. So here's the 3 big things I've learned as reading this list, okay? Number 1, what women want most from their men tend to be the thing that annoys them the most about us.
That's a huge aha, I think.
And so think of that. When you're out there being annoyed by your man, just know there's something about that annoyance, that issue, that really is there to teach you.
It's almost an emotion of envy. Like you almost look into that and subconsciously probably feel a little jealous.
That's exactly right.
What else? What else can we learn?
Another rule, fairly simple, is women don't really understand their men that well. Because a lot of us guys, we feel the same things. It's not like we have no guilt. We just have the ability to move on.
Yeah.
But we do feel guilt, and we do, I mean, so if you knew what we were really thinking and feeling too, we just also know that some of it just doesn't serve. So don't be so caught up in certain things you can't control.
Okay.
Don't just think we're ignorant, we hate you. And last but not least, we both have the same basic needs. We all want to be loved, we all want to be cared for, we all want to be safe, we all want to be respected and validated and encouraged. We all have the basic same needs.
Good stuff, Matt.
There we can all come together and learn something from the top 10 list. By the way, we also learned you got a date night coming up and a special deal for Studio 5 viewers.
Yes! This date night is about understanding your partner's needs. And we're trying to just really get everybody fixed in Utah, okay? So here's what you do. If you go on, you can go to my website, Date Nights with Matt, put in the coupon code Studio5. The date nights are normally $35, but you can get it for $25 if you put in the coupon code.
Okay.
And spell coupon right.
Yeah, I noticed that
Because that
too.
will work.
Apologies for that. But
You guys,
hey,
that's great.
Thanks, Matt.
Thanks, you guys.
Okay, coming up.